scientifically spiritual. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am a recovering alcoholic. I'm still sober, and I'm still enjoying each and every single day. I've never met anyone, no one at all, that has ever regretted getting clean and sober. It's Friday night, and that means we have our Friday night crosstalk meeting tonight at 7 o'clock. If you and your friends are local to the Huntington, West Virginia area, and you're looking for an actual recovery meeting, not a pathway-specific lecture and sermon about how you're doing shit wrong, but an actual recovery meeting, one where you can walk in, sit down, and have a back-and-forth exchange of ideas with another recovering drug addict or another recovering alcoholic. You can have that discussion and that dialogue and conversation. Encourage you to come on down to 5747 East Pea Ridge Road in Huntington for what we like to call the quickest hour in recovery. It's truly just several sitting around, catching up from over the last week, talk about what's been going on, any challenges we might be facing, and having a hell of a good time while we're doing that. So I encourage you to come on down tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll see you there. Science and spirituality, those two words seem to always be constantly opposed to one another. I think they have been for millennia, and I think they will probably continue to be for quite some time. I don't think we're going to change that here on the Recovery Classroom, and that's fair. But I think it's important that we try to, again, in an effort to continue our growth, our intellectual growth anyway, to dissect things a little bit more. First and foremost, let me say this. I am an absolute believer. For as rational and logical as I am, and I always talk about that, I always try to apply logic, reason, and rationale to things. For all that being said, I am an absolute believer that in the spiritual realm, there are things that, us as human beings, we can't explain, we can't observe, we can't see. A great example, dogs. Dogs can hear things that I can't hear. Dogs can see things that I can't see, and they can sure as hell smell things that I can't smell. They can sense things that we as human beings can't sense. So a dog can pick up on things that you and me may not be able to. Do we just automatically default and say, well, they're acting something spiritual? The way they're acting right now, they're barking and going chaotic. It's got to be something spiritual going on. No, I think that's where science and spirituality kind of go hand in hand to a degree. I think we should apply science to try to explain certain events and certain things that are going on in our lives. I think we should try to apply that logic, reason, and rationale to these events and situations that we may be facing. But whenever we run out and we exhaust all efforts to apply that logic, reason, and rationale, that's when I drop back and say, well, there's got to be something spiritual then. If I can't apply logic, reason, and rationale, then there's obviously something going on that I can't see. I can't taste, I can't touch, I can't smell. It's obviously the unknown. And a lot of people, you can call that the unknown or supernatural or unnatural or spirituality. A lot of times folks come in recovery and things will happen that there is a scientific, rational explanation for what's happening, but they don't want to apply the thought. They don't want to apply the critical thinking skills to identify and try to apply that scientific explanation. They just want to drop back and punt and say, well, this is something spiritual. I think, as Bill Wilson wrote, is very true. God gave us brains to use. And I think that's part of our growth in recovery is being able to use our brains to analyze situations, to kind of step back and take a broad view of what's going on in our lives to try to understand, is there a logical, rational, reasonable explanation for why this event has taken place in my life? And if there is, great, okay, that's fine. Now I kind of know what I'm dealing with. If there's not, then maybe that is a sign, maybe that is indicative that we are in fact dealing with something supernatural, something spiritual. I, for one, I think people get lost in the terminology and the nomenclature, if you will. I think spirituality is a real thing. Fully believe it. I was raised anyway to believe I was raised in a very Christian household, and because of that, some of the things that happened, I was disconnected from God, and so I had this void, a spiritual or lack of a spiritual connection with anything. Fortunately, when I came into the rooms, I came into recovery, I started applying logic, reason, and rationale because that was what I was good at doing. But then there's things that I couldn't apply that science to, I was able to chalk up to something spirituality. And that's what allowed me to kind of reconnect and reopen my connection, I should say, with my higher power, whom I choose to call God. Don't get lazy. A lot of people, they stop trying to apply that critical thinking. They stop trying to apply that logic, reason, and rationale whenever they get in recovery. recovery, they stop trying to apply that and they just want to just chalk everything up to spiritual awareness. I can understand how people do that, but I also understand that whenever I would do something like that, it would start making me complacent. And of course, complacency kills in my mind. That's usually the first step towards a relapse. And that's just some place I just have no desire to ever go to and visit again. So with that being said, I'm out of time. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys, absolutely keep me sober, and I could not be any more appreciative. We'll be talking again soon, guys. Remember, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.